Alex had been living on Orion 5 research station for almost 3 months, but every morning still felt strange to him. The station floated far from Earth, orbiting a quiet blue planet whose name he could never pronounce correctly. The hallways smelled faintly of metal and something sweet, like alien fruit. Artificial lights gave the place a warm glow, but the view outside the wide glass panels reminded Alex just how far from home he was. He had come here as part of an exchange program, one human student among dozens of alien species. The program's goal was cross-cultural understanding. What Alex didn't expect was that his understanding would begin the moment he met Rin. Rin was his roommate, or rather, his assigned cohabitation partner, as the station paperwork called it. She was tall, with pale green skin that seemed to shift in shade depending on the light. Her eyes were large and silver, catching reflections like tiny mirrors. She wore long, flowing clothes made of a fabric that shimmered when she moved. Their first meeting had been awkward. Alex had smiled and said, "Hi, I'm Alex." Rin had stared at him for a few seconds before answering in a calm voice, "Yes, I know." Then she had gone back to arranging strange, crystal-like objects on her desk. Over time, the two settled into a rhythm. They weren't close friends, but they weren't strangers either. Alex learned not to touch the small devices she kept on, the shelves. Rin, in return, learned not to complain when Alex played old Earth music in the evenings. Life on Orion 5 was busy. Alex attended classes in xenolinguistics, learning the basics of alien languages. He sometimes got strange looks from reptilian students when he mispronounced words, but he didn't mind. The station cafeteria served food from dozens of worlds. Alex usually stayed with the safe section, earth fruits, rice, bread, but Rin sometimes brought home meals that looked like they came from a dream. That morning, Alex had been reviewing notes for an upcoming language test when a soft chime sounded from his wrist communicator. It was a message from the class coordinator. "Alex, urgent. Rin's name is on the station's comms list. Please make sure she checks her messages." He frowned. Rin usually checked her communicator every morning. Maybe she had left it in her quarters. Alex left his room and walked down the short corridor to Rin's private section. On Orion 5, each roommate had a separate sleeping space, but shared common areas like the kitchenette and study corner. Rin's door was at the far end, marked with a silver plate covered in elegant alien symbols. He stopped in front of it and knocked gently. "Rin, you there?" he called. No answer. He waited, then knocked again, louder this time. Still no sound from inside. Alex hesitated. He knew the station rules. You weren't supposed to enter someone's private quarters without permission. But if the message was urgent, well, maybe she wouldn't mind. He tapped the door panel. To his surprise, it slid open with a soft hiss. "Rin?" he said again, stepping one foot inside. The air in her room felt different, cooler, with a faint scent of something floral. The lights were dim, but the far side of the room glowed softly, as if from a hidden lamp. Alex took another step, his curiosity rising. That was when he saw her. Rin stood in the center of the room, surrounded by a faint, shimmering field of light. Small symbols, glowing in soft blue and white, drifted around her like falling leaves. In her hands floated a delicate sphere, no bigger than an orange, made of what looked like pure crystal. Alex's eyes widened. The sphere wasn't in. Her hands, it hovered between them, spinning slowly in midair. The symbols around her seemed to react to its movement, shifting and flowing like water. For a moment her appearance changed. Her green skin glimmered faintly, and patterns of light moved across it, like the play of sunlight through water. Her silver eyes were brighter, almost shining from within. Alex froze. His mind tried to make sense of what he was seeing. It wasn't a simple technology demonstration. This felt personal, like he was looking at something private, something Rin never meant for him to see. She didn't notice him at first. Her gaze was locked on the sphere, her lips moving slightly as if she was speaking in a language he couldn't hear. Then, the light shifted. Rin's head turned and her mirrored eyes met his. Alex felt a shock run through him. The glow around her vanished instantly, the symbols dissolving into the air. The sphere dropped gently into her palm as if obeying her will, and she closed her fingers around it. "Close the door," she said softly. Her voice was calm, but there was something in it, a sharpness, like a warning. Alex's mouth opened, but no words came out. He did as she asked, stepping back into the hallway and letting the door slide shut behind him. For a few seconds, he just stood there, his heart pounding. He tried to tell himself it was nothing, just some alien cultural ritual, maybe a study project. But deep down, he knew it was more than that, much more. The next morning, Alex woke up feeling uneasy. The memory of what he had seen in Rin's room was still sharp in his mind. The sphere, the strange symbols, the light that seemed alive. He had barely spoken to her since then. She hadn't come. Out for dinner the previous night, and the soft hum he sometimes heard from her quarters had been silent. He got ready for the day, pulling on his simple station uniform and brushing his hair while glancing toward her closed door. Part of him wanted to knock and ask what was going on. Another part told him to keep quiet. By mid-morning, he decided he couldn't just ignore it. The station felt too small to pretend nothing had happened. Alex stepped into the shared living area and hesitated in front of Rin's door. He raised his hand to knock, but stopped. This was exactly how it had started yesterday. He remembered how the door had slid open without locking. Had she forgotten to secure it again, or had she left it that way on purpose? Alex knocked gently. "Rin, it's me," he said. No answer. He waited, listening for footsteps or movement inside, but there was nothing. He tapped the door panel again. Just like before, the door slid open with a soft hiss. The room inside was dim, lit only by the faint glow of the station's external lights, filtering through a narrow window. The air was cooler than the hallway, carrying that same faint floral scent he remembered. But this time, Rin was standing near the far wall, facing a tall piece of equipment Alex had never seen before. It was shaped like a narrow pillar with thin rings of metal rotating slowly around it. A faint hum came from within, and tiny sparks of light danced between the rings. The sphere he had seen yesterday rested on top of the pillar, suspended in a beam of soft white light. Rin's back was to him, but she spoke without turning. "You are here again." Alex froze. "I knocked. You didn't answer." Her head tilted slightly. "And so you entered." "I was worried," Alex said, quickly. "Yesterday the coordinator sent a message for you. I thought maybe you thought you could come into my private space." Her voice wasn't angry, but it was sharp. Alex took a step back. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just—" Rin finally turned to face him. Her silver eyes reflected the faint light from the pillar. "You saw too much yesterday," she said quietly. "And now you are here again. Curiosity is dangerous." Alex swallowed. What was that? The sphere, the lights? Was it some kind of science experiment? Rin studied him for a long moment before replying. No, it was not science. Walked toward the pillar, her long robes brushing the floor. She touched a control on its base, and the rotating rings slowed to a stop. The hum faded until the room was silent. "I cannot tell you," she said finally. "Not yet," Alex frowned. "Why not?" "Because you are human," Rin answered simply. He almost laughed, but the seriousness in her voice stopped him. "What? Does that have to do with anything?" Her gaze didn't waver. "Humans talk. You share what you see, what you feel. Sometimes you do this without thinking. If you told the wrong person about what you saw, She trailed off, her eyes shifting. Toward the sphere, Alex followed her gaze. You mean someone would want it? Yes, Rin said softly. Many would, and they would take it. The room felt colder all of a sudden. Alex stepped closer, lowering his voice. You think there's someone here on the station who might try? Rin didn't answer immediately. Instead, she touched the sphere lightly. It rose into the air and floated between them, spinning slowly. Alex felt his breath catch. The way it moved wasn't mechanical. It was as if it chose to move. Finally, she said, I cannot be sure, but I must be careful. This object, it belongs to my people. It is not meant for others to see. Alex stared at the sphere. So why didn't you lock the door? For the first time, a small smile touched Rin's lips. I wanted to see if you would come back. Alex blinked. You wanted me to? She nodded slowly. Humans are unpredictable. I wish to know what you would do after yesterday. Alex didn't know whether to feel relieved or insulted. So this was a test? In a way, Rin said. She reached out, and the sphere drifted back to her hands. She cupped it gently, and the glow dimmed until it looked like a simple piece of crystal. You came back, but you did not try to touch it. That is a good sign. Alex crossed his arms. Look, I'm not trying to get involved in something dangerous. I just don't like secrets when they might put both of us at risk. If there's something I should know, you will know, Rin interrupted. When it is time. Her tone left no room for argument. Alex sighed. Fine. But if you ever need help, I will ask, she said. And then, more softly, perhaps sooner than you think. He left her room feeling even more confused than before. Whatever that sphere was, it wasn't just some cultural ornament or decoration. There was purpose in the way she handled it, in the way she guarded it. And now Alex had a feeling that whatever this was, it was going to pull him in deeper than he expected. That night, long after the station's lights dimmed for sleep mode, Alex heard a faint sound from Rin's room. A low hum, like before but steadier, almost like a heartbeat. He lay awake, staring at the wall, wondering if curiosity really was dangerous, or if it was the only thing that might keep him alive. The next few days felt strange for Alex. Rin spoke to him less, and when she did, her words were short and careful. The easy silence they used to share had been replaced by something heavier, a quiet that felt like she was keeping a wall between them. In the mornings, she left their quarters before he woke up. In the evenings, she returned late, going straight to her room without staying in the shared area. The sphere was never in sight. Alex tried to focus on his studies, but the memory of that glowing crystal kept tugging at his thoughts. He wondered what it could do. He wondered why she trusted him enough to test him, yet not enough to tell him the truth. One afternoon, he spotted her in the station's main corridor, speaking quietly with a tall alien whose skin shimmered, like polished stone. As soon as Rin noticed Alex watching, she ended the conversation and walked away without a word. By the third day, Alex decided he needed to at least try talking to her again. He found her in the cafeteria during the lunch hour. The Orion 5 cafeteria was always lively at midday, dozens of species eating together, their voices blending into a constant hum. Some tables had steaming plates of alien noodles, others bowls of glowing fruits. Rin sat at a small table in the corner, a tray in front of her. She wasn't eating. Instead, she was scanning the crowd with careful eyes, as if looking for someone. Alex picked up a simple meal from the Earth food section, bread, salad, and a small piece of station-made cheese, and walked over. Mind if I sit here? He asked. Rin's eyes flicked to him, then back to the room. You can. Alex sat down, studying her. You're avoiding me? No. she said without looking at him. Yes, he replied. You are. And you're avoiding answering my questions. Rin's gaze moved slowly back to him. Her silver eyes reflected the cafeteria lights. I do not wish to involve you. Involve me in what? Alex pressed. She looked at him for a long moment, then sighed. You saw something you should not have seen. That is already dangerous. If others know you saw it, you could be a target too. Alex leaned forward. Who are these others? Instead of answering, Rin's eyes flicked toward a table across the room. Alex followed her gaze. A group of 4 aliens sat together, their plates untouched. They weren't talking, just watching the room. One of them, a narrow-faced figure, with blue markings along its neck, glanced in their direction before looking away. Do you know them? Alex asked quietly. I know of them, Rin said. They are not students. They are interested in things that do not belong to them. Alex understood what she meant. The sphere. Rin didn't confirm it, but she didn't deny it either. They finished their meals in silence, though Alex could tell Rin was tense. She kept her hands close to her tray and her eyes moving, as if expecting something to happen. When they left, the cafeteria, she spoke without looking at him. You must promise not to tell anyone about what you saw, not your teachers, not other humans, no one. I already wasn't planning to, Alex said. But Rin, I can't help if I don't know what's going on. Her voice was low and firm. You can help by staying out of it. Alex frowned. That's not really my style. Rin glanced at him, and for a moment, a flicker of something like amusement crossed her face, but it vanished quickly. That evening, back in their quarters, Alex sat at the small desk in the shared area, pretending to review his language notes. In reality, he was waiting for Rin to come out of her room. When she did, she was carrying a small pack slung over her shoulder. She stopped when she saw him. Going somewhere? He asked. Library, she replied simply. At this hour? Rin didn't answer, but Alex noticed she kept glancing toward the hallway behind him, as if checking whether someone was outside. Rin, he said, standing, if there's a problem, you need to tell me. Her silver eyes met his, steady, but unreadable. Alex, sometimes knowing less keeps you safer. Or it keeps me blind, he countered. They stood there for a moment, neither speaking. Finally, she turned and left, the door sliding shut behind her. Later that night, Alex lay awake in his bed thinking about the conversation. He couldn't shake the feeling that Rin was preparing for something, and that it involved those strangers in the cafeteria. The station felt too quiet. Even the soft hum of the ventilation seemed muted. Alex got up and walked to the small window in his room, looking out at the distant planet below. Stars dotted the black sky like tiny sparks. Somewhere out there, Rin's people lived. Somewhere. Out there, the sphere came from. And here, on this station, something was about to happen. Alex didn't know what, but he knew one thing. Whether Rin wanted it or not, he was already involved. Alex didn't see Rin the next morning. By midday, he was starting to wonder if she had even returned from the library the night before. He checked the shared area. Her side of the kitchenette was untouched, and the small water pot she usually kept filled was empty. Just when he began to worry, the door slid open and Rin stepped in. She looked tired, as if she hadn't slept, but her silver eyes were sharp. Alex, she said before he could ask where she had been, we need to talk. The seriousness in her voice made him set aside the datapad he was holding. All right, about the sphere? Yes, she replied, moving to sit at the small table. And about why you cannot tell anyone what you saw. Alex sat across from her. Finally, he said, I've been waiting for this. Rin rested her hands on the table. My people are called the Solari. We are older than most of the species you see here. We are not many. Our homeworld is far and our colonies are few. but we guard something that is older still. She paused, as if choosing her words carefully. The sphere you saw, she continued, is one of the stellar keys. It holds maps to star lanes that are invisible to normal sensors. These lanes can cut months of travel down to hours. Some pass through safe space. Others pass near places no ship dares go. Alex's eyes widened. So it's a navigation device? It is more than that, Rin said. The maps inside are alive. They change when the galaxy changes. They can guide you through storms of radiation, past unstable stars, even through dark space where no light escapes. In the wrong hands, such power could be used to control trade, cut off entire worlds, or reach places meant to stay hidden. Alex leaned back, letting that sink in. And you just carry this thing around with you? Her gaze was steady. I am not just a student here. I am the last apprentice of the stellar archivists, the keepers of the keys. When my mentor was taken by enemies, I was told to hide, to wait until I received a signal to bring the key home. Alex remembered the strangers in the cafeteria, the way they seemed to be watching. Those people, they're after it, aren't they? Rin's lips pressed into a thin line. Yes. They are part of a group that believes the keys should be sold to the highest bidder. They have chased my people for years. I thought this station would be safe, but I was wrong. He leaned forward. Why not just give the key to the station authorities? They could protect it. Her silver eyes darkened slightly. And if one of them is already working for the enemy? The moment the key leaves my hands, I lose control of it. The archivists taught us that protection starts with trust. And trust must be earned. Alex nodded slowly. So, do you trust me? Her gaze didn't waver. You came into my room twice. You asked questions instead of stealing what you saw. You have not spoken of it to anyone. That is why I am telling you now. The weight of her words settled over him. He realized she was placing something precious and dangerous in his care simply by sharing the truth. So what happens now? He asked. We wait for the signal, she said. If it comes, we move quickly to reach the rendezvous point. If it does not, we may have to act before they find us. Alex frowned. And what am I supposed to do in all this? Her answer was simple. Watch. Listen. Tell me if you see anything unusual. You are human. Most here will think you are harmless. That is an advantage. Alex couldn't help a small grin. Harmless, huh? I'll try not to ruin my cover. For the first time in days, Rin gave a faint smile. Over the next 2 days, Alex did exactly as she asked. He attended his classes, visited the cafeteria, and walked the main corridors, all while keeping an eye on the strangers Rin had pointed out. They were always in pairs, always in quiet corners. Sometimes one would glance his way, but never for long. On the 3rd night, Alex returned to their quarters to find Rin seated at the table, the sphere in front of her. The soft glow lit her face, making her look almost otherworldly. It has changed, she said, motioning for him to come closer. Alex stepped forward and saw that the symbols swirling inside the crystal were moving faster, forming patterns like star maps. This is the beginning of the signal, Rin explained. It means the archivists are alive. They are trying to reach me. Alex felt a rush of relief for her. That's good, right? It is. But it also means the enemy will sense it too. Her words made the room feel colder. A sudden chime from the station's comm system interrupted them. Attention, all decks entering security lockdown. All residents return to quarters immediately. Alex and Rin exchanged a glance. That is not a good sign, she said quietly. What do we do? Alex asked. We wait. And if someone comes for the key, her voice grew firmer. We make sure they do not find it. Alex's pulse quickened. For the first time since coming to Orion 5, he felt the walls closing in. The quiet life of classes and cafeteria meals was gone. Now, every step he took might matter. And for the first time, he truly understood he wasn't just a bystander anymore. The station lockdown lasted only 10 minutes, but it felt like hours to Alex. The alarm stopped, the red lights faded, and the automated voice announced, "Lockdown lifted. Security teams have cleared all decks. Please remain cautious." Alex turned to Rin. What was that? Her expression was tight. A search. They were looking for something, maybe someone. He knew what she meant. The key. Yes. Her silver eyes shifted toward the small pack on the table, where the glowing sphere rested inside. If they searched here, they would find it. For the rest of the evening, neither of them left the quarters. Rin stayed near the table, her hands never far from the pack. Alex paced the floor, thinking. Finally, he stopped and said, "We can't just sit here. If they come again, you need a better place to hide it." Rin looked at him. "Where would you suggest? Every corner of—" "This station can be scanned." Alex smiled faintly. "Not every corner. Some places are too human for the scanners to bother with." Her brow furrowed. "Explain?" Alex led her to the small maintenance panel in their kitchenette. He pulled it open, revealing a tangle of pipes and wires. "Scanners look for energy signatures, right? This section is full of electrical noise from the water and food systems. The key signal would get buried." Rin stared at the mess of cables. "You are certain?" "As certain as I can be," Alex said. "I used to help fix things like this back home. If we wrap it in an insulating cover and push it deep enough, no one will notice it unless they rip the wall apart." She hesitated, then slowly took the sphere from her pack. Its light pulsed softly, as if it were alive. "If I give this to you, it is in your hands. Do you understand what that means?" Alex met her gaze. "It means you trust me." For a moment, her expression softened. "Yes. And trust is not given lightly." They wrapped the sphere in a thick cloth from Rin's belongings, a strange fabric that shimmered faintly when touched. Then Alex carefully slid it deep into the maintenance panel, securing it between the warm pipes. When the panel was closed again, the kitchen looked exactly as it had before. Rin stood silently for a moment, as if listening. "It is quiet now," she said. "The key's song is hidden." Alex grinned. "Told you. Sometimes human solutions are the messy ones." That night, the station's artificial lights dimmed for sleep mode, but neither of them rested much. Alex lay in his bed thinking about the conversation earlier. For the first time, Rin had let him carry the key, even if only for a few minutes. She had let him decide where to hide it. That wasn't just trust. It was a sign she saw him as a partner now. In the darkness, he whispered to himself, "I'm in this, whether she likes it or not." The next day brought more signs of trouble. Security officers moved in pairs down the halls. Certain sections of the station were blocked off for repairs, though everyone knew it meant inspections. During lunch, Alex spotted two of the strangers Rin had warned him about, the narrow-faced alien with the blue markings, and another with a heavy armor-like hide. They weren't eating. They were talking quietly, glancing at a small device in the narrow-faced one's hand. When their eyes swept the room, Alex looked away, pretending to focus on his plate. But he could feel their attention like a weight. That evening, Rin returned from a short trip to the library with a grim expression. "What happened?" Alex asked. She set her pack down. "The archivists have not answered my return signal. I think—" She paused, taking a deep breath. "I think they may have been captured." The words hit Alex like a cold shock. "Captured? By the same people after you?" "Likely," Rin said. "If that is true, I am the last one left with a key." Alex didn't need to ask what that meant. It meant the hunt would only get worse. Rin moved to sit at the table, her hands clasped. Alex, if I fail, you must promise to take the key and keep it from them. He shook his head. You're not going to fail. This is not optimism. This is planning, she said firmly. Promise me. Alex hesitated, then nodded. All right, I promise. She studied him for a long moment, then said quietly, Perhaps my people were wrong about humans. How so? They told me humans act before thinking, that you are too quick to trust, but sometimes that may be the very thing that saves you. Late that night, a faint tremor ran through the floor, almost too small to notice. Alex felt it in his bed and sat up. Moments later, the station's intercom clicked on, Attention, certain docking bays are temporarily closed for inspection. All residents remain in assigned sections. Alex's first thought was the key. He got up, checked the kitchenette panel, still closed, still secure. Rin emerged from her room, alert. Did you feel that? Yeah, he said. Think it's them? Her silver eyes narrowed. I think the test has already begun. The rescue signal came just after midnight. Alex was sitting by the small window of their quarters, staring out at the endless stars. The soft glow from the crystal sphere still hid safely behind the maintenance panel. The station was quiet, but the tension in the air was thick. Suddenly, Rin's communicator beeped sharply. She picked it up and listened carefully. Her silver eyes grew wide. It's time, she said softly. Alex stood up, heart pounding. Are your people really alive? Yes, and they need help. Rin moved quickly, her steps sure and graceful. She reached out and touched the crystal sphere, which floated up into the air once more. The symbols inside glowed brighter, swirling like stars in a galaxy. Alex watched, fascinated. For a moment, the room was filled with a soft, warm light. Then, something incredible happened. Rin's skin began to change. The green shimmer deepened, and her patterns of light became brighter and more complex. Her hair seemed to flow like liquid light, and her eyes glowed with a gentle radiance. Alex could hardly breathe. He had seen her as human enough before, but this was her true form. Beautiful, radiant, unlike anything he had imagined. It is easier to share this now, Rin said, her voice calm but filled with emotion. This is who I am. My people are beings of living light. We can change shape to adapt, to heal, to survive. Alex nodded, still speechless. It's amazing, she smiled softly. Thank you for trusting me. Humans have a gift that my people do not fully understand. The courage to trust without certainty. Together, they worked to send the rescue signal. The sphere emitted beams of light, forming patterns that reached far beyond the station's walls. The symbols spun faster, carrying a message only the stellar archivists could read. Alex helped guide the transmission, learning to use the ancient technology with her help. The seconds felt like hours as they waited for a reply. Then, the signal flickered and responded. A new wave of light appeared. The answer from her people. But danger was close. Suddenly, the station's emergency alarms blared again. Red lights flashed. Security breach, the intercom warned. Alex grabbed Rin's hand. We have to move. Rin nodded. Her true form shimmered as she took a protective stance. Together, they hurried through hidden corridors, avoiding security patrols that had suddenly changed from friendly to suspicious. Alex's human instincts kicked in. He led them through. Maintenance shafts and unused storage rooms, places where cameras rarely watched. After tense minutes, they reached the communications hub. Rin connected the sphere to the station's main transmitter. This will send the full rescue code, she said. It will bring help, but it will also mark us. Alex looked around nervously. Are you sure? Rin's eyes met his. There is no other choice. The transmission began. Bright beams of light shot into space, visible even from the station's observation deck. Alex watched, amazed. The light felt alive, as if it carried the hopes of a lost people across the stars. Then the alarm stopped. The station's tension eased, but Alex knew this was only the beginning. Rin relaxed for the first time in days. She stepped closer to Alex, her true form shimmering softly. "Thank you," she said simply. Alex smiled, feeling something new, pride, wonder, and a deep respect. "I guess what I saw really did leave me speechless," he said quietly. Rin laughed softly, a sound like a gentle wind. "You showed bravery," she said. "That is the human way." In the days that followed, the station slowly returned to normal. Security tightened, but no one dared challenge the humans or Solari openly. Alex and Rin's friendship grew stronger, built on trust and shared secrets. The sphere stayed hidden, but its light remained a symbol of hope. Alex knew his life had changed forever. He had walked in on his alien roommate by mistake, but what he saw had opened his eyes to a universe bigger and more beautiful than he had ever imagined.